They say that within the halls of Buckingham Palace, the walls don't just have ears, they have memories. For decades, the British monarchy has survived by keeping its skeletons locked behind gilded doors. But in 2026, those locks are finally beginning to break. We've seen the rifts, the tell-all books, and the high-profile exits, but nothing could have prepared the world for the bombshell that has just dropped. Imagine a secret so explosive that it doesn't merely threaten a reputation. It could rewrite the history of how Meghan Markle entered the royal fold. This revelation doesn't come from an anonymous source or a tabloid journalist, but from someone who was once at the very heart of the royal inner circle. Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, has reportedly broken her silence, and what she allegedly revealed about Prince Andrew's past and Meghan's place within it has sent shockwaves through the foundations of the House of Windsor. The claim is simple, direct, and deeply controversial. Long before the world knew her as the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle was allegedly connected to Prince Andrew during his most controversial years. This is not being framed as just another internet rumor or recycled piece of gossip. Instead, it is presented as a narrative tying together two of the most polarizing figures in modern royal history. For years, the public has speculated about the so-called Yacht days, the shadowy elite gatherings that have haunted Prince Andrew's reputation for more than a decade. But until now, no one had publicly attempted to connect Meghan Markle directly to the center of those allegations. Is this the missing piece of the puzzle? Is this the missing piece of the puzzle that explains the immediate icy tension between the Sussexes and the rest of the royal family? Or is it a calculated move by a woman who has finally decided to play the game by her own rules? To understand why this is happening now, we have to go back to a moment that was almost completely erased from history. In 2013, rumors began circulating within palace circles that Prince Harry and his uncle, Prince Andrew, had been involved in a heated physical altercation. Some reports claimed it was a shouting match that ended with a shove, while others whispered that an actual punch had been thrown. At the time, the palace PR machine reportedly went into overdrive to bury the story, and for years it worked. But in the wake of the 2026 revelations, people are beginning to ask, what were they really fighting about? Was it simply a clash of personalities? Or did Prince Harry discover something about his uncle's social circle that he found unforgivable? Fast forward to today, and that alleged 2013 tension now looks almost prophetic. Back then, Meghan Markle was still a rising star on the television series Suits, navigating the high-pressure worlds of Hollywood and the global elite. If she truly crossed paths with Prince Andrew's circle as far back as 13 years ago, then the official story of her 2016 blind date with Prince Harry begins to look less like a fairy tale and more like a carefully constructed narrative. Sarah Ferguson's recent comments suggest that the connection between the York family and the future Duchess of Sussex runs far deeper than the public was ever led to believe. And as Ferguson reportedly faces eviction from her longtime home at Royal Lodge, some believe she may now be willing to trade secrets for survival. When Sarah Ferguson allegedly used the phrase first client, the world fell silent. It is a term that carries a heavy and highly specific implication in the context of Prince Andrew's controversial history. We are not talking about a traditional business relationship. We are talking about the murky offshore world of luxury yacht parties that became closely associated with Prince Andrew's social life during the early 2000s. For years, the so-called yacht girl narrative was dismissed as nothing more than a conspiracy theory fueled by grainy photographs of a woman who vaguely resembled Meghan Markle aboard a yacht in the Mediterranean. But Ferguson's alleged claim is not about a photograph. It is about a role. She is reportedly claiming that Meghan Markle was a key figure in the introductions allegedly being facilitated by Prince Andrew during those years. This aligns with a growing body of speculation suggesting that Meghan's social circles in London and Toronto were closely connected to individuals associated with Andrew's social network. Names such as Marcus Anderson and the elite Soho House network continue to surface in discussions surrounding those so-called yacht days. If Meghan Markle was indeed connected to these high-profile gatherings, it could dramatically reshape perceptions of how she entered the royal family. It would suggest that when she met Prince Harry, she may not only have known who the royals were, she may also have been familiar with some of their most guarded secrets. And if Prince Harry was aware of that past, then his alleged anger toward Prince Andrew in 2013 begins to take on an entirely different meaning. But that is not the whole story. The official narrative states that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle met in London in July 2016. However, investigative journalists have recently focused attention on a 2017 wedding in Jamaica that appears to show the Yorks and the Sussexes moving within the same tight-knit social circle long before the public was paying attention. At the time, it appeared to be nothing more than a glamorous gathering of wealthy young elites. But viewed through the lens of 2026, the guest list now looks far more significant. Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew were reportedly there. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were there as well, alongside several individuals whose names have allegedly surfaced in discussions connected to the Epstein files. The Jamaica connection matters because it raises the one thing the palace fears most, a timeline that does not fully add up. If Meghan Markle was already familiar with the York family, then why promote the elaborate story about a blind date? Why maintain the narrative that she barely knew who Prince Harry was? According to these claims, Sarah Ferguson is reportedly prepared to reveal that the blind date story was little more than a PR strategy designed to present Meghan Markle as a fresh and unconnected outsider. In reality, she may already have been a familiar figure within the York household for years. The alleged betrayal here is not simply about a hidden past. It is about the perception that the public may have been sold a carefully crafted narrative designed to protect a royal brand built on fragile foundations. Many are now asking why Sarah Ferguson would speak out after spending decades as the loyal, if sometimes unconventional, ex-wife. She stood beside Prince Andrew through the fallout from the Epstein scandal and the removal of his royal titles. But 2026 has brought a different kind of pressure. King Charles III, while facing his own health struggles and attempting to slim down the monarchy, has reportedly moved forward with plans to evict Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson from Royal Lodge. According to reports, they are being pushed further out of the royal inner circle, stripped of security protections, and left to fend for themselves. According to these reports, Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew are now being left to fend for themselves financially. For a woman long associated with expensive tastes and mounting debt, Sarah Ferguson has suddenly become one of the most dangerous figures in Britain. She is reportedly shopping around a nuclear memoir said to carry a staggering $20 million price tag. And the centerpiece of that book is not her own story. It is allegedly the truth about what she witnessed while living at the heart of the York family. Supporters of this theory claim that Ferguson knows where the bodies are buried because she helped bury them herself. By allegedly linking Meghan Markle to Prince Andrew's controversial past, she is not merely attacking a rival, she is creating leverage. The message, according to insiders, is clear: protect me, or watch the entire house of cards collapse. The Duchess of York has escaped scandals before, controversies that might have destroyed almost anyone else. But this time, observers claim she is no longer trying to survive. She is trying to win. The tension reportedly reached a breaking point in February 2026 when news emerged that Prince Andrew had allegedly been questioned and detained by British police for nearly 11 hours. The accusations reportedly extended beyond his social life and included claims involving misconduct in public office and the possible sharing of confidential trade information during his tenure as a UK trade envoy. But, according to speculation, the real story was not the questioning itself. It was what investigators allegedly seized. Reports suggest that a hidden collection of digital files and physical documents was recovered from his private residence. Those files supposedly included guest lists, schedules, and communications connected to the luxury yacht gatherings that Sarah Ferguson is now discussing. For Meghan Markle, this represents the nightmare scenario. If her name were ever to appear in those alleged records, the rumors circulating in the press could evolve into something far more serious. Inside palace circles, reports claim there is a mood of cold determination, with Prince William allegedly leading efforts to distance the crown from both the Yorks and the Sussexes. To William, this is reportedly not just gossip, it is a direct threat to the survival of the monarchy itself. If the public begins associating the future of the royal family with the darker networks of the past, the damage could prove irreversible. Meanwhile, Meghan Markle's silence throughout the controversy has only intensified speculation. Some believe she and Prince Harry are quietly weighing legal options, while others suspect they may be preparing for yet another retreat from public life. For years, defenders of the Duchess of Sussex pointed out that the most widely circulated yacht photo was actually an image of a woman named Alexandra Scat. That fact was used to dismiss the entire yacht girl theory as a misogynistic smear campaign, and for a long time, that defense held. But the 2026 allegations are no longer focused on a single photograph. Instead, rumors circulating through elite London circles speak of high-definition images and travel records allegedly recovered from a private Mediterranean server. According to these claims, the logs do not merely show a woman resembling Meghan Markle. They allegedly identify her by name and passport details dating back to the early 2000s. As a result, the narrative is shifting from conspiracy theory to alleged documentation. In the world of tabloid media and high-stakes YouTube commentary, that is the ultimate source of viral attention. It is the type of story that keeps audiences watching because it challenges the public image the Sussexes have carefully built over the years. Critics argue that if Meghan Markle willingly participated in elite social circles connected to Prince Andrew, then her portrayal of herself as a naive outsider unfamiliar with royal customs begins to unravel. To them, it suggests a level of ambition and calculation they have long suspected, but could never substantiate. While Meghan Markle remains at the center of these allegations, many believe the emotional impact on Prince Harry cannot be ignored. Since 2020, Harry has presented himself as his wife's protector, the man who rescued her from what he described as a toxic royal environment. But what if that environment was one she already understood? The rumored 2013 confrontation with Prince Andrew takes on a far darker meaning if Prince Harry was allegedly trying to shield his family from scandals he already knew existed. And if he later discovered that his wife had connections to that same world, the psychological toll could have been devastating. By 2026, the divide between Prince Harry and Prince William appears deeper than ever, perhaps beyond repair. Prince William reportedly views Prince Harry's refusal to acknowledge these alleged connections as a betrayal of the crown itself. According to royal insiders, the silence surrounding the controversy is no longer being maintained through official statements, but through a steady stream of strategic leaks suggesting the royal family may be prepared to let the Sussexes face the fallout alone. As the world watches the consequences of Sarah Ferguson's explosive allegations unfold, one question continues to dominate public discussion. Did Prince Harry know? Did he know about the alleged yacht days, the so-called first client claims, and the rumored connections to Prince Andrew's social circle? If he did, some argue his loyalty is proof of the depth of his love for Meghan Markle. If he did not, then the events of 2026 may ultimately become the scandal that drives him back toward the royal family alone. As Britain reaches this crossroads in 2026, the monarchy itself appears to be facing an existential crisis. Between King Charles III's health struggles, Prince Andrew's legal controversies, and the Sussexes' ongoing battles with the media, the institution is being stretched to its limits. To many observers, Sarah Ferguson's decision to go public with allegations about Meghan Markle's past feels like the final piece of a scandal years in the making. Whether the first client accusation is meant literally or symbolically, critics argue that the damage has already been done. Public perception of Meghan Markle has shifted dramatically, from global icon to a woman surrounded by unanswered questions and controversy. Yet Meghan Markle has never been known for fading quietly into the background. Reports suggest her team is preparing a powerful counterattack that could include everything from a new documentary project to a wave of high-profile legal actions. She has weathered media storms before and repeatedly demonstrated an ability to reinvent herself under pressure. Still, as the Epstein files continue to dominate headlines and Sarah Ferguson's rumored memoir looms over the holiday season, many are wondering how much more strain the royal brand can withstand. Is this the moment the fairy tale finally ends? Or is it only the beginning of a much darker and more complicated chapter? To truly understand how an American actress and a British prince could allegedly move within the same shadowy orbit years before their official meeting, many point to the gatekeepers of the global elite. This world is not defined by red carpets or award shows, but by ultra-exclusive private clubs such as Soho House, places where the wealthy and influential gather away from public scrutiny. In the early 2000s, Meghan Markle was reportedly active within these elite social circles, guided by her close friend and influential Soho House figure Marcus Anderson. At the same time, Prince Andrew was allegedly relying on many of these same networks to maintain his high-profile lifestyle as his official role as a trade envoy began to decline. According to rumors circulating in 2026, a number of private events in Istanbul and Toronto may have brought these two worlds together. Supporters of the theory argue that this was not merely a coincidence of location, but a convergence of interests and influence. If Sarah Ferguson is indeed referring to Meghan Markle as a client, critics believe she may be alluding to the kind of elite networking and introduction services that these exclusive clubs have long been rumored to facilitate for their most powerful members. For years, the public was told that Meghan Markle was a self-made woman who fought her way to success in Hollywood. But the emerging narrative suggests she may have received a very different kind of assistance, the kind allegedly tied to powerful connections, strict non-disclosure agreements, and enormous sums of money. According to these rumors, the story does not end with elite club memberships. Critics continue to ask an uncomfortable question. If these allegations carried any credibility, why would the late Queen Elizabeth II have allowed the royal wedding to proceed in 2018? That question has haunted royal commentators for years, and in 2026, some claim they may finally have an answer. Reports are now circulating about a so-called black file, allegedly presented to the Queen by MI5 only weeks before the wedding at St. George's Chapel. According to speculation, the file supposedly contained many of the same allegations that Sarah Ferguson is now accused of weaponizing publicly. Palace insiders claim the Queen faced an impossible choice: cancel the wedding and trigger a global public relations disaster, or allow it to move forward and hope the rumors remained buried forever. Some reports further suggest that Prince Harry was only given a heavily sanitized version of the briefing, one focused more on potential security concerns than on personal allegations. Supporters of this theory argue that it could explain Harry's intense protectiveness toward Meghan Markle from the very beginning. In their view, he was not simply battling negative press coverage, he was confronting shadows and suspicions he never fully understood. But as Sarah Ferguson allegedly begins revealing material from her private diaries, the so-called black file is no longer being treated as a palace secret. According to commentators, it is rapidly becoming part of the public conversation. The alleged betrayal, critics argue, is not only about Meghan Markle's past. It is also about the possibility that the institution itself may have known more than it admitted, and chose to conceal the truth from both the public and Prince Harry in order to protect the image of a modern monarchy. What happened next, according to online commentators, stunned everyone. In previous decades, a blurry photograph or a denied rumor might have been enough to bury a scandal. But 2026 has become the era of digital accountability. New AI-powered forensic tools are reportedly being used by independent investigators to examine the infamous Yacht Girl photographs with extraordinary precision. For years, the Sussex PR team insisted the photos depicted other women. However, recent biometric analyses circulating online allegedly claim a 98% facial match with Meghan Markle, citing facial structure and distinctive physical features. Supporters of these claims argue that the controversy has now moved beyond gossip and into the realm of data-driven evidence, making it increasingly difficult for mainstream media outlets to ignore. Meanwhile, social media platforms have exploded with viral side-by-side image comparisons, generating millions of views in only a matter of hours. Within hours, these viral videos were no longer focusing solely on facial comparisons. Online investigators began mapping specific pieces of jewelry and clothing allegedly linked to Meghan Markle in 2012, claiming they appeared in locations she had publicly stated she never visited. According to critics, the digital ghosts of her past are now colliding with the reality of 2026. As speculation intensifies, The continued silence from Montecito is increasingly being interpreted by some not as dignity, but as the absence of a credible defense. Supporters of these theories argue that if the photographs and records are authentic, then the foundation of the Sussex brand, authenticity, honesty, and transparency, could be at risk of collapse. But while public figures battle to protect their reputations, many believe the most vulnerable members of the family are being caught in the middle. The real tragedy of this unfolding controversy, according to commentators, is not simply the damage done to the monarchy, but the shadow it casts over the next generation. Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie have reportedly spent years trying to distance themselves from the scandals surrounding their father, Prince Andrew, only to find themselves pulled back into the spotlight by Sarah Ferguson's explosive claims. At the same time, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet are growing up in a world where their mother's name is now being linked to the very elite social circles they were supposedly meant to be shielded from. In 2026, questions surrounding legacy and family reputation have never felt more painful. Sources allegedly close to the York sisters claim they are devastated by Sarah Ferguson's decision to connect Meghan Markle to Prince Andrew, fearing it could permanently damage what remains of the family's standing. Meanwhile, reports suggest the Sussexes are deeply concerned about the day their children become old enough to search these allegations online for themselves. How, critics ask, do parents explain to their children that their entry into the royal family was preceded by a past they spent years publicly denying? According to commentators, this is no longer just a political or social scandal. It is becoming a generational trauma unfolding on the world stage. The golden couple of 2018 has, in the eyes of many critics, transformed into the cautionary tale of 2026. And as rumors continue to spread about additional documents being prepared for release, the world is beginning to realize that some secrets may simply be too heavy for any crown to carry. The saga of the royal family has always resembled the ultimate reality drama, a volatile mixture of power, tradition, privilege, and human weakness. But by 2026, the intensity of the crisis has reportedly reached a level that even the most imaginative screenwriter could never have predicted. Sarah Ferguson's explosive allegations involving Meghan Markle and Prince Andrew have reportedly pulled back the curtain on a world of hidden relationships, elite social circles, and high-stakes survival within royal life. The controversy has forced many to look beyond the polished public image of royalty and examine the darker narratives that critics claim have remained buried beneath the surface for years. In an age where transparency is demanded and accountability is unavoidable, the royal family can no longer depend on carefully managed silence to protect its reputation. According to many observers, the truth, no matter how controversial or uncomfortable, always finds its way into the light. As the world watches these developments unfold in stunned fascination, one thing seems certain. The grand theater of royalty may be approaching its most dramatic chapter yet. Whether this story ends in redemption or collapse, the fallout is likely to shape the future of the monarchy for years to come. What do you think about Sarah Ferguson's decision to speak out? Is she exposing hidden truths? Or is she a master strategist fighting for her own survival? And what does all of this mean for the future of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more investigative deep dives into the secrets surrounding the world's most famous royal family.